People, Boruto episode 189 is hands down, no arguments, the best looking episode of the entirety of the Boruto anime. 188 episodes, the closest we've gotten to this type of level of animation was episode 65 if I'm not mistaken, the Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki battle that happened quite a few years ago now. This fight, Kawaki versus Garou, they wanted to make sure, Studio Pierrot, they were on a mission. They wanted to make sure that they brought this character, his introduction, his entrance to the franchise, they wanted to put him on the map and make sure everybody of all ages know what time it is. The kiddos is gonna look at it and be like, oh shit, this guy Kawaki, he's nothing to mess with. Then at the same time, the adults are gonna be like, oh shit, Studio Pierrot made a really awesome looking episode. Because even though the contents of this episode, like majority of it, 85% to 90% of the episode was Kawaki versus Garou in this climactic epic battle, it at the same time was just delivering so much. First of all, it gave a lot of characterization to Kawaki. It gave us a real understanding of like, oh no, they're making sure to let us know he is a badass, he's ruthless, he's a different breed, so to speak. Yeah, let's talk about it.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Okay, so for starters, big thing I want to say about this episode is that the art style that they used for this episode was a love letter and an homage to each and every manga reader that is a fan of Boruto, because they used the designs from the manga for this episode. I mean, for crying out loud, yo, they had Konohamaru with the fro from the manga. He was Konohamaru, okay? Like, yo, and that's honestly the best version, the best adaptation that we have of Konohamaru, apparently, because not only does he look badass with the design, but he's actually useful. Who would have thunk it? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's actually helping out Boruto. He actually saved him, what, twice in this episode, if I'm not mistaken? He actually did his thing. I think it was one time against, like, Garou, something that was thrown or some shit like that, and then another time, like, yo, I guess Konohamaru needs a fro so he can be useful. Just like, you know, the whole Afro Luffy shit where Luffy just becomes a badass, Konohamaru just becomes useful once he has a fro. And don't get it twisted, because in this battle of Kawaki versus Garou, while Kawaki was doing his thing, and again, like I said, they just wanted to demonstrate the art and animation being top tier, top of the line, top notch, Garou was still putting up a fight. It was showcasing that, yeah, the outers are still, you know, relevant, still strong. Like, Ao wasn't a fluke, because remember, Ao put in a lot of work, and obviously Garou is another outer, but Garou was putting in work. Garou was doing his thing. It's just that Kawaki is a different breed, fam. Throughout this episode, I can't even believe that they put this much passion into it. And like I said earlier, this truly felt like a love letter to the manga readers, to the people that have loved this source material, to Ukyo Kodachi fans, because at the end of the day, in case you don't know, the Boruto manga, they recently, at the end of last year, changed out the old author that has done 50 chapters pretty much of the manga and replaced him with the original creator of Naruto, Masashi Kishimoto, and it seems as though this was homage to him and everything that he set up, because this was all his work, his writing of this fight between Kawaki and Garou, and they just knocked it out the park. It was incredible. You could tell Studio Pierrot is betting a lot of chips on the next part of Boruto getting even grander and bigger with the introduction of Kawaki, because they made sure to pull out all the stops. No punches were pulled with this episode. And I mean, even on the sidelines with Kashin, Koji, and Delta, while they're just talking and whatnot, the art style that they used on them as well just looked phenomenal. The shading, the coloring, I love whatever they do, those effects of having like the tree, because they're standing like obviously on a tree and the leaves are on them. The way they do that shit looks incredible, and you could definitely tell that obviously there's something up with Kashin Koji. Very mysterious, but also the methods that he's using is kind of a little bit like, what are you really up to here, fam? Because he's like basically saying like, let everything play out, let's just keep on gathering intel, which I guess you would argue kind of makes sense as far as a shinobi goes, but he's letting her go the distance, fam. He's letting one of their outers, which I guess they don't really care, and it also shows the ruthless nature of the Kara group, that they don't really care about their outers, but he lets Garou just get dusted off, you know what I'm saying? Another one would have been, let's swoop in and grab this motherfucker right now while we still got the chance. Even at a certain point when Delta's like, well, can we at least get rid of the leaf shinobi? He's like, no, let's keep keep on gathering intel. Like, yo, Kashi and Koji, what's going on? What's really good with you, fam? And yo, the best part of the episode, hands down, which don't get me wrong, the entirety of this episode, again, like this is the best looking episode, best action piece of the Boruto anime thus far. But the part that really was just mwah, creme de la creme was we get a close up of the ashy lips, because apparently Studio Pierrot loves to emphasize that Kawaki got ashy lips. He got crackly. He needs some chapstick, chapped lips all day. He gets a close-up of his face because Garou is begging for his life. They're begging for forgiveness. Please, sensei, I'm so sorry. Basically kissing his ass, even though, like, you know, he was picking on him. He started it first, and then he wanted to play victim, so to speak. Like, come on, stop playing. And Kawaki, the characterization of it all that showcased just what level of badassery he's at is that while this guy's begging for forgiveness, he says, yo, your breath stinks, pig, and blast this dude away on some Vegeta-esque type of shit. Kind of reminded me of like Vegeta with the androids, Android 19, where he just doesn't give a shit. He just blasts them away. Like, that's what I felt right there. And it showcased also the power of karma, because up until that point, yeah, they were having a grand old battle and shit like that, but it wasn't just this one-sided thing where once the karma mark activated, which also showcased, again, there's some connection between karmas. If Kawaki and Boruto's karma activated at the same time, he just all of a sudden became like an absolute monster. And after that karma mark activated, it was curtains for Garou. Dude was left as a pair of legs. All we see is the bottom part of his body, just his legs is all that's left. I'm just like, oh my god. Which in retrospect, I think they might later on down the road do some type of filler shit where like the other half of his body somehow survives. Like, I could totally see that happening, even though Kawaki dusted him off. But just a side note, if it does happen, I called it. He'll just be like a quadriplegic or some shit, like in a wheelchair, like, I'm coming after you, Kawaki. But fam, like, oh my god. And then showcasing again that Boruto's karma is nothing to sneeze at either. Even Koji points it out to Delta, because after that whole giant blast that would have wiped out the Leaf Shinobi, Konohamaru and them, you see that Boruto's karma mark activated and he's there, and everything behind him was blocked. So it seems as though he potentially either shielded or absorbed the blast that would have went to them as well, which again, major power boost for Boruto right there. Like, Boruto, you know, he's a regular shinobi, very, very bright and shit like that. Now he has this godlike power that is allowing him to ascend, so to speak. And just this episode as a whole, highly recommended. Even if you don't watch Boruto, you're just watching this one, you want to see a really cool fight, you want to get a little bit, maybe, like, show me something that's going to interest me into the Boruto anime. Come on, give me a little something. Go watch Boruto episode 189, Kawaki versus Garou, the karma mark, everything about it. This episode, yes, it's been a long time waiting. Can we justify 180 something episodes? That's for you to decide. But as far as delivering, as far as giving us something worthwhile, they hands down did it. Best looking episode of the Boruto anime thus far, Naruto Next Generations. Holy shit. Then at the end, Kawaki faints and they decide that they're going to take him to the Leaf, although in the preview of the episode, it seems as though they're going to take a detour, which again wasn't in the manga, so I guess it's anime canon. We go, but I can't stress enough that this episode was incredible. Drop a like for the level of this episode, and if you wish we would get more episodes at this level of quality, because it was phenomenal. Very curious what you guys think. Do you think that this episode is going to put Boruto even further on the map in terms of popularity, in terms of getting people in? Because honestly, just keeping it real, thinking about it now, this is definitely going to be in the running for best fight of 2021's anime. I can see at the Crunchyroll Awards and whatever else, like, this has got to be a nomination, because this episode, the fight was just too high level of quality, and I don't know what could possibly top the level of what they did here. And your overall thoughts and expectations for the Boruto anime with episode 190 and beyond. Man, I can't stress enough. Fire. Absolute fuego. That's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links are in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and holy shit, go Kawaki, yo. Studio Pierrot did their thing. I'm so freaking hyped.
So just go to